It's all gonna be over someday. The games will stop. The scoreboard won't matter. You'll hang up that jersey, and then what? I've been where you're at. I've lived for the wins, cried through the losses, I've sat the bench, and I've wondered if I was still doing enough. Before I talk about glorifying God through sport, I want to give a little bit of background into my sports testimony. My first sport was actually dance. I started around first grade and stuck with it for the next 5 years. I competed for 2 of those years. When my studio shut down, I decided to try something new. That's when I found softball. I fell in love with it fast, and I practiced every chance that I got. In middle school, I wanted to experience it all. Basketball, volleyball, track. I tried everything, but nothing compared to softball. By 8th grade, I became the starting varsity catcher for my high school team. But that's also when I started feeling a lot of pain in my right hip. After months of doctor's visits, I was diagnosed with hip dysplasia and a labral tear. I kept playing through the pain, but it was hard. My freshman year, I let go of being a 4-sport athlete. I narrowed it down to my 2 favorites, softball and volleyball. I stuck with those through my sophomore year too. After that volleyball season, I had surgery to correct my hip injury. 3 screws holding my hip together. I spent 3 months on crutches relearning how to walk. I came back for softball, but everything had changed. I wasn't the starting catcher anymore. And then the news that came shattered me. My doctor told me that I'll probably never get to catch again. So I moved to third base. I kept playing, but it just felt off. Junior year, I pushed really hard. I went back to being a 4-sport athlete thinking that I was ready. The pain and the instability was still there. My performance wasn't as good as I knew it could be. That's when I started to fall away from God, and I was frustrated and angry. I had built my entire identity around being an athlete, and now I didn't even feel like I was a good one. I had my screws removed right before softball season. My coaches were concerned, and they benched me for the first game. That was a first for me, and I was devastated. I still wasn't catching, and I still wasn't where I used to be. Then senior year came. I knew everything was coming to an end, and that changed me. I found my gratitude again, and more importantly, I found God again. My relationship with the Lord started to grow. I stopped finding joy in the results and started finding peace with His presence, win or loss. I became a team leader and captain of the volleyball and basketball team. I played with my heart on my sleeve, thanking God every game just for the opportunity to play. I cried after every final game, but I also praised Him. In my final softball season, God blessed me so much. I got to return to catching with no hip pain. Then, right before our last 2 games, I got a concussion and couldn't play. Honestly, that was okay, because my security wasn't on the field anymore. It was in the Lord. I knew my role was to encourage my teammates from the dugout. That's how I'd glorify God. And now it's over. The practices, the game days, the warm-ups, the team talks, it's just over. Looking back now, I realize that God was shaping me through all of it. Every injury, setback, every win. So, dear Christian athlete, here's what I've learned. Things I wish someone would have told me when I was in your shoes. Alright, so first, I want to give a shout out to this book, The Christian Athlete. I read through it and I annotated it. This book has seriously helped me so much with finding my identity in Christ, dealing with the wins, the losses, dealing with my injuries. This book, I think every athlete needs, not even Christian athlete, every athlete needs to read this book. It gives you such a good perspective through everything. So if you can, get this book and read it. Glorifying God through sports. Just remember that whether you win or lose, your identity is not on the scoreboard, on the field, on the court. Your identity is in Christ. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord. So in a sport, God gave you the ability to play your sport. He gave you the love for that sport, so work for it. Work like God is your coach. And glorifying God through a sport, you don't need to just say, oh yeah, thank God for helping me win this game. You can still glorify God through a win, through a loss, through an injury, through every situation, whether it be, you lose a game 0-5, or you can glorify God through every situation. Glorifying God isn't just praising him after you do good in a game. Glorifying God is carrying yourself in a way that brings light to who God is and shows a little bit of his character. Like for me, whenever I was injured, my glorifying of God was me encouraging my teammates. Even though I was injured, even though I had every right to hate the world and be upset, you act and you carry yourself in a way that brings light to the character of God and to who he is. This also goes into being a good teammate. Have fun with your teammates. Build connections with them. You need to serve others. You need to carry yourself like Jesus carried himself. You need to love others. Even though there was this one girl on the team, I felt like she didn't work very hard. I caught myself thinking that maybe she shouldn't be playing. Maybe she shouldn't have a spot. But I prayed about it. I felt so convicted for feeling that way about somebody. I prayed for her to work harder. I prayed for myself to stop thinking this way. I asked God to forgive me. You need to be happy for everybody on your team. I know that it's easy to be, oh, this person is doing so good and I'm not doing that good. I wish that I was doing that good. That's comparison. You should not be a slave to comparison. You need to be genuinely happy for your teammates if they do good. Yeah, I was convicted in this too. I never hit a home run my entire softball career, ever. Hit one at practice, that's it. We have another girl on our team that hits bombs. I think she's on her 30th. And I found myself becoming jealous of that. Thinking, well, she's doing good. Why can't I do that good? She's hit a home run. Why can't I hit one? And, being kind of jealous at that. Why would I be jealous of my teammate? I shouldn't. She's helping our team. Try not to let yourself be in the comparison game. Riding the bench. Yeah, it's hard. It's gonna hit for so many people. Because I know you're working hard at this sport and you want to play. And God gave you the ability to play this sport and you just want to go out and you want to play. But, sometimes it's just not what God has for you. Keep in your own mind that you're still in the game even if you're not playing on the field. Being on the bench helped me build as a teammate. Even if you're not playing, even if you're sitting the bench, you can still glorify God. You can still glorify God, and that's your mission. As a Christian, you are an ambassador for Christ. Your job is to bring light on who God is. And it doesn't need to be this big flashy thing. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be the star athlete. You don't even need to play, you don't even need to start varsity. You could be sitting on the bench. You could be encouraging your teammates. It doesn't have to be some big audience. It could just be your teammates, your coaches, your friends, the audience that's watching you, that's watching your teammates. That's all it takes to glorify God through sport. The next thing I want to talk about is staying joyful through the wins and the losses and the injuries, the setbacks. Yeah, an injury sucks. Yeah, a loss sucks. It's okay to feel bad about it. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be frustrated. As long as that anger and that frustration doesn't lead you to sin, you're fine. Your identity is in Christ, not in some outcome of a game. Joy isn't found in some stat sheet if you go 4 for 4, if you make 3 threes in your basketball game. It's in God. A lot of people need to realize that. I fell victim to it too, because I was praising a sport over God. So he gave me an injury. He gave me an injury so I would remember where my trust should lie. It shouldn't lie in the outcome of a sport, it should lie in God. Here's some more tips that I learned, not just glorifying God through a sport, but putting him at the center of your sport. So first, I would pray on the bus rides to games. I would pray while I was stretching before games. I would pray during the national anthem. I know that a lot of people say that that's wrong or something, but that's when I found true peace in God, and that's when I could really just be silent and give it all to God when everybody around me was silent. I would pray after games. Win or loss, I would pray thanking God just for the opportunity to be on the field. Be a good sport. High five the team that you just played. Tell them good game. Shake hands with the officials. That's something I would do. As a catcher, I would go up and introduce myself to the umpire and say, hey, how are you? I'm going to be back here with you today. Shake hands. After a game, thank them for coming to the game, for being your official that game. And after it's all over, thank your coaches. Thank your teammates. Thank everybody that had helped you. I know for me, after our last game, I was devastated, really. I went up to my coaches and I hugged them. I thanked them for everything. I went up to my little league coach, who's one of my teammates' dads. I thanked him for everything that he's done, because he's really who helped me find my love for the sport. I just want you to know that it's not over. After you're done, after you play your final game, it's not over. Your whole identity is not an athlete. Your identity is in Christ. So God's going to bring you wherever he's going to bring you. God's going to keep working in your life even after you're done playing a sport. If you're in a hard season in your life, in your sport, if you're injured like I was, if you're not playing as much as you think you should be, I just want to say, God sees you. He hears you. He's not done with your story. I pray that you all find your identity in Christ and that you can show it on the court, on the field, on the track. I ask God to watch after all of you, to keep you healthy. I want to know, in the comments, tell me where you're at in your sports journey. What sport are you playing? Do you find your identity in Christ while you're playing your sport? Let me know if you want more Christian content like this. Yeah. Thank you guys.